Your nervous system, and especially an ADHD nervous system, is very good at detecting uncertainty. When there's something on the horizon, something that feels unsettled or unmade, something approaching you that you can't quite see clearly yet, your nervous system begins to mobilize. You might feel this as a tightening in your belly or your chest, a low hum of restlessness, or a subtle bracing somewhere in your body. Coming here to pause with that early signal, that is something really important. This practice today is designed to work with that energy gently, a little at a time, before it has a chance to build into something bigger and more intense. So I invite you to find a comfortable position for your body, seated or lying down, however feels most restful right now. And if your eyes are still open, you might let them gently close. And in this moment, you might begin to become aware of your breath, beginning to notice the gentle exhale, the way the breath moves out. Perhaps you notice the soft sighing sound and the release of the breath, the way the body in some small way seems to follow that gentle release, settling just a little more with each breath, just a little deeper with each exhale, the body resting and relaxing even more. You might be curious about the exhale. Perhaps you notice the warmth of it, the quiet as it ends, the brief rest before the next breath comes and begins on its own. You might notice how your body begins to respond to your exhale. And you might notice that just by noticing yourself noticing your exhale, your breath has already begun to change, perhaps already begun to slow down, perhaps beginning to become deeper and deeper with ease. And as you continue to notice the breath, the exhale, the soft sighing sound, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, you might once again bring your awareness even more to your body. Perhaps you notice the weight of it, wherever it is supported right now. You might notice your hands becoming heavier and heavier, the length of your back, the way your body has been holding and carrying itself all day. And perhaps you might already notice areas of the body that are now beginning to release even more, beginning to soften. Perhaps a place in the shoulder. You might notice your face or your toe beginning to release even more, beginning to ease and let go. And so, as you rest from here on for a moment, noticing the exhale as it moves through your body, as you notice your breath finding a gentle rhythm, you might begin to notice a picture beginning to form. Noticing yourself standing on a rocky coastal point. Solid ground beneath your feet. A lighthouse behind you. Its light beam making a slow, steady sweep. You might notice the ground beneath you. Cool, dark, firm rock. These stones and rocks have been here a very long time. And as you look out toward the horizon, you might notice the sea today has some movement to it. Perhaps the waves are a little choppier, more restless on the surface. You might notice the waves building a little further out, catching the gray-blue lights as they roll and shift. And perhaps somewhere in this moment, you might also notice a place in your own body that has some of the same shifts, rolls, a restless tightness, perhaps a subtle hum of something that you noticed beginning. You might be curious about where that finds itself resting in your body. Perhaps the chest, perhaps the throat or the belly, perhaps the general sense of bracing somewhere throughout the body. And from right here, standing on the solid ground, you might simply notice it, the way you might notice those waves further out on the water. Present, moving, and something you are watching from solid ground. I invite you now to bring just a small amount of attention toward that place in your body. A light touch of awareness, like a resting hand that gently touches still water. You might notice what that sensation is like. The texture, a temperature, a weight. Perhaps it even seems to have a shape or a size. You might simply notice it from right here with curiosity, fully present. And now gently, you might bring your awareness back to the ground beneath your feet. How solid the rock feels, how firm it is in its coolness beneath you. You might notice that something in your body has already begun to ease and release, as if some part of you recognizes the solid rock beneath. And you might notice something releasing even more. And perhaps once more, with the same gentleness, you might let your awareness move back towards that sensation in your body, touching it lightly once again, noticing how it might have shifted and changed already, how it might already be different from where it had been. You might become curious about its edges, where it begins and where the rest of your body is at ease, is at peace, noticing that it lives in one place, contained and bound, and then gently bringing your awareness back to the ground. The lighthouse beam continuing its slow, gentle arc out and back, out and back. Something that has been moving in the same steady rhythm long before you arrived here. You might notice something in your body beginning to settle even more into that same rhythm. Something finding its own steady rhythm. And as you stand here on the ground, the lighthouse still behind you, the sensation already softer than when you arrived, you might let your awareness drift back gently toward your breath. Notice how much it has already changed, how much it has already shifted from when you first arrived. Perhaps already slower, perhaps already moving with more ease. You might find your attention once again on the exhale, the long, gentle, steady breath, the way the breath moves out, and then the moment of rest before the next breath rises on its own. And as you notice your breath, you might also notice the sound of the ocean, still present, still in motion, and perhaps a little further away now than when you first noticed. You might notice that the waves have their own rhythm, pushing forward and then drawing slowly back. And perhaps your breath and the steady movement of the water has already found some quiet way of moving together. As you rest here, the ground solid beneath you, your breath following its own quiet rhythm, the lighthouse behind you continuing its slow sweep, you might begin to notice what has already shifted, what has already changed in your body. Perhaps you might notice a place that has already softened, a shoulder that has now eased, your chest that has now begun to open just slightly more at ease. You might also notice that the sensation you started with, that early signal, has already changed and shifted in some way. Perhaps softer, perhaps smaller, perhaps simply different from when you first stepped onto this ground. You might notice quality of settling, moving through your body, calm, at ease, more grounded, a little more serene. And perhaps from this place you might also notice that you can go on with your day to whatever is ahead. That the wave may come and you have already practiced standing here. That the ground is steady, and so are you. So now, take your time to gently begin to bring your awareness back to your inhale, perhaps deepening with each breath, bringing more awareness back to the present, to the light and the sound around you. Perhaps you begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, gently deepening your breath, letting it come a little more fully into your lungs. And take your time, gently, one sensation at a time, making your way back ever so gently. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. Carry with you a sense of calm, steady, and ease.